Apologies for the mess. I had company over last night.
I can see that.
If it makes you uncomfortable, you could wait outside while I...
No, it's fine.
You're very convincing, Doctor.
I'm sorry, it's just that seeing it is different than...
Of course. Let me, move the rug.
Thank you. So, what's going on?
It's Oathkeeper. He's... stronger, angrier, hungrier, I don't know. Life doesn't sustain me the way that it used to. Oh, don't look at me like that. You're safe here.
Tell that to the last guy.
If I wanted to talk to the last guy, I probably wouldn't have killed him.
You're hilarious. Let me see your arm.
Your dad would have laughed at my jokes.
My dad had a horrible sense of humor.
He was a good man.
He did his best. The lock is still intact, but the ward is getting weaker.
You reapplied the ward 5 years ago.
I know. It's concerning.
How concerning?
How long have you had Oathkeeper trapped in your arm? 30 years?
Closer to 50.
Very concerning. Do you know how the warding actually works?
Just the basics. Your father described it as a puzzle box that Oathkeeper would be compelled to open. And that the more focus and energy he exerts unraveling the ward, the less he has to make demands of me.
Well, after 50 years, it looks like Oathkeeper got better at multitasking.
So build a better ward.
I can't.
Oh, pity. I don't maintain relationships with useless people.
I thought I was safe here.
And I thought you were good at your job. We both made mistakes.
I can't tell if you're joking.
Do you want to find out? Or would you rather just propose a solution?
There might be some alternatives.
And I can't wait to hear them.
And that concludes today's lecture on ley lines. Don't forget to review your notes on astral gates tonight. There will be a pop quiz tomorrow. Please act surprised.
Hello, Professor. I believe Johan told you to expect me.
Oh, he said his grandmother would like to have a chat, but you don't,
I moisturize.
Ah, yes. You're the one with the, condition.
Indeed.
The intersection between magic, medicine, and science is a fascinating one, isn't it?
Riveting.
It's so exciting to find a kindred spirit. Have you been going to Brown's recent lecture series? If not, you absolutely must.
My time is at a premium, Professor. The longer we chit-chat, the more likely your course is the only one at Columbia with a body count.
Oh, right then. How can I help?
My ward is failing.
Dire situation, to be sure. But I'm afraid my knowledge of binding wards is journeyman at best.
Yes, but your connections with science and academia are vast.
Vast? That's very generous of you.
I want to host a bit of a symposium on my condition, as you called it. More of a gala, really. It's pivotal that the right people are in attendance. The brightest minds.
I imagine I could drum up some interest. When next year are you thinking?
Oh, it's in 2 weeks.
Oh, that's simply impossible. The sort of folks you want to speak with are taking sabbaticals or doing field research. And as we both know, no one's leaving the Black Chateau to come to your event.
For every expert you bring, I will donate $250,000 to your department.
And what a gala it will be. I'll get you a list of names soon.
Thank you, Professor. Tell me you have good news.
I have news. How good is relative?
You're very glib today.
Well, we're in a public place, so I figured I'd live on the edge.
What did you learn about Oathkeeper?
The notes Dad kept on him were meticulous. I still haven't fully digested everything, but there's a promising option emerging.
Go on.
Oathkeeper wasn't named ironically. That thing is like the patron saint of Faustian bargains. So while I'm sure he's pissed that you trapped him for 50 years, there's probably a part of him that's impressed.
So what's the promising option?
I just told you.
I want to make sure I understand. The ward is failing.
Yes.
And there's nothing that you, me, or a minor act of God can do to change that.
Correct.
But I should be encouraged by the fact that I tricked Oathkeeper into bondage.
Exactly.
Out of respect for your father, I'll let you finish that horrid cup of coffee before I kill you.
I don't think you're seeing the big picture.
As soon as the ward fails, I'm as good as dead.
Possibly.
Possibly? For 5 decades, Oathkeeper's had nothing to do but stew on what it can do to me when he's free. Do you know what 50 years' worth of revenge look like?
I don't. And that's why you have a chance. Oma, you are a uniquely cruel woman, and Oathkeeper has to respect that on some level. That thing lives to make deals. So make it another one.
I have no leverage. Why would he... Oh my God. Of course. He doesn't know how close he is to breaking free, does he?
I don't think so.
Well then, that changes things, doesn't it?
Next, I'd like to introduce you to Professor Burke from Smith. Now, his background is medieval history, but I think you'll find his thoughts on trials by combat to be not only riveting, but shockingly relevant.
If you would excuse me for a moment, Professor. I need to get some air. Grant me the patience.
You hate these things too?
Eyes through this thing.
Whoops. Want a beer?
Do I look like a stevedore? Who are you?
Maggie McGinnis. I work at...
Fairfax Industries. If I recall, you was a brat that Maximilian paraded around incessantly.
Well, thanks for the open bar.
Apologies, Miss McGinnis. You were just incredibly annoying the last time we met.
I probably was. I was also 15. What's your excuse for being an asshole?
How dare you?
Word of advice, Lady Geist. Be nicer. You never know who could actually help you out. Good luck.
Merde.
Sorry to bother you, Lady Geist.
Professor, if this is about your colleague, I'm afraid I'm going to need a few more minutes.
No, a friend of yours stopped by. He asked me to give you this.
He said he was a friend?
Is he not?
I'm not sure. Hello, Fern. Please.
Go to hell!
Is everything all right? Of course. I'll show myself up. Hello, Fern. Please.
Go to hell!
Is everything all right? Of course. I'll show myself up.
I hunger, Geist.
You speak as if that's my concern.
By the day your beauty fades, I would say it's very much your concern.
I love it when you posture as if I don't have you under lock and key. You will be fed when I choose to feed you and not a moment before.
My power
Is weakening. You think I haven't noticed? Last year I could kill a vagrant and enjoy the rest of swimsuit season. Now the same hobo would barely last me a drive to the Hamptons. At some point, le jeu ne vaut pas la chandelle.
Now who's posturing?
What good is eternal life if I spend it in an OSIC oubliette? And we both know that's exactly where I would end up if I gave in to your every whim. No. Your demands are too much. And so I'm given little choice but to age gracefully.
So what? You toss me more scraps for the next 50 years?
My dear Oathkeeper, the scraps you are fed today will feel like a banquet compared to the crumbs you will be fed in the future.
Such conviction. I almost believe you.
Believe me, don't believe me, either way. This dynamic of ours is not really benefiting either of us anymore, is it?
It sounds like you're about to propose a solution.
You don't want to be trapped in my arm. I don't want to be killed if I release you.
So pay off your debt to me.
Did you forget the part where I said I had no intention of obeying your whims?
A deal made needs to be honored. It is my nature.
And it will be, just not by me.
Go on.
I don't release you. I transfer you. To someone I trust. You get a host for your regular indulgences.
And I don't have a moment of freedom to kill you.
Exactly.
The idea has merit. Do you have someone in mind? Lady Geist. You've been a busy woman.
I made a promise.
Ah, so now you remember.
I never forgot. And I decide who gets to die.
Of course. A guest doesn't get to be picky about the meal they're served.
And how often will I?
Well, that all depends. Life is bought with life. The better the quality, the more time you have.
So all lives aren't equal.
If you honestly believe they were, we wouldn't be talking. Now, do we have a deal?
I fed you plenty.
And yet not nearly enough. Your binding of me
And showed favorable terms.
was against the spirit of the bargain. And when I am free of this prison, you will answer for it.
Oh, I believe you. But you will be waiting for a very long time, my friend. Unless
Unless what?
you're interested in making a deal.
I'm listening.
Pardon me, Miss McGinnis. I believe we started off on the wrong foot.
I'm busy.
I understand that. It's just...
None of the other big brains at your little party were able to help you?
Yes,
Sucks to be you.
mistakes were made.
Where's my vase?
Excuse me?
Rich people love to give away stupid shit when they want to apologize. It's always a vase or a ceremonial mask or some silver-plated cheese-cutting set. So again, I ask you, where's my vase?
It's not quite a vase, but I'm told the proletariat love it. That was a joke. Please, can we talk?
Come with me. You're not used to not getting your way, are you?
No.
I appreciate the honesty.
Can you help me?
Can I? Sure. Will I? Haven't decided yet.
Why is that?
Well, on the one hand, it's an interesting challenge. On the other, you're just a bad person.
Your mind is the engine that drives the occult war machine. Within a decade, your inventions will claim millions of lives if they haven't already.
Yeah, sure. But my job is designing weapons. That makes me a monster in the theoretical sense. You're basically a serial killer.
Yeah.
Give me a reason to help you. Something interesting.
I have money.
I said interesting.
It will likely be 50 years before there's another maelstrom. Do you really want to wait that long before you try to harness the power of a god?
Oh, now we're talking.
Detective Abrams, I'm sorry I missed you at the party.
I'm sorry. Who are you?
Lady Geist.
You sound French.
I am.
Thought you'd be German.
I married one.
Guess that makes sense.
I'm getting bored, detective.
You want me to work on my tight five?
I want you to tell me what you want.
I need to show you something. You know what this is?
A book.
A tome. Something ancient. Something powerful.
What does it do?
Steal life. Sound familiar?
Detective, are you implying...
I think we're past lying, Mrs. Geist.
Ms. Geist.
I thought you married a German.
He died.
I'm shocked.
I loved my husband, detective. And if you imply otherwise ever again, they will never find your body.
You're not lacking for confidence.
Like you said. We're past lying.
Take a look at this. May I see your hand, please?
The symbols. They...
What the hell was that?
That shouldn't have been possible.
What do you mean?
Oathkeeper is oblivious to the world outside his prison. I'm supposed to be able to choose when he sees, when he speaks, and even then only I can hear him.
I think it's safe to assume Oathkeeper and the tome are connected.
Indeed. What do we do?
We summon the patrons.
No.
You promised you would help me.
With the ward, sure. Not with making a deal with the devil.
The devil. Oh, don't be so dramatic.
You're not foisting Oathkeeper on me. End of story.
What would you have me do?
You know a bunch of horrible people. I'm sure any one of them would love to live forever at the cost of someone else's life.
Of course I do. The question is, who do I know that wouldn't turn on me the first chance they got?
What about Mr. Fairfax?
Not a horrible suggestion. I'm sure he tried to either bind or weaponize Oathkeeper, but that would be his problem, not mine.
Weaponize?
The occult industrial complex never sleeps.
Don't go to Fairfax.
No, it was a good idea.
There has to be someone else.
What about Shelley Fisher?
How do you know that name?
Oh, I went through your files last week when you invited me over for dinner.
Why would you do that?
Because I knew you would never reveal your patient's personal information.
That woman is sick.
Which means she's desperate. And desperate people make wonderful prospects.
Leave her alone.
Your morals seem fairly arbitrary.
I can't do this anymore.
Here we go again.
That thing in your arm is a cancer.
Which is why I'm trying to remove it.
But you're not. You're trying to pass it on to someone else. There's no cure for Oathkeeper. Dad bought you as much time as he could, but time is up.
Finding a new host was your idea.
And I was wrong. Everything about it is wrong. I have to go.
Children.
So how's it going with Oathkeeper?
Surprisingly well. You were right. He was very eager to renegotiate the terms.
What's he want?
For me to make contact with the patrons.
Oma, you're in this mess because you made a deal with the spirit, and now you want to go out into the maelstrom and make a deal with another?
I'm not making a deal with the patrons. I'm just using them as a notary.
What do you mean?
Well, as you know, life is bought with life. The patron is a means to increase the exchange rate, so to speak.
Why not just ask them to banish Oathkeeper?
Why would I do that?
The whole point was to get rid of that thing!
No, the point was to save my life. We've already established that you're incapable of repairing the wall, so where does that leave me? Oathkeeper escapes his prison, I die. Oathkeeper is banished from my person, I grow old. Both are unacceptable.
You're acting like growing old is a death sentence.
It is. And it is slow and painful. You don't understand what it's like to have your body grow frail and decrepit, for your mind to shrivel, to have others stare at you with nothing but pity. No, I will not die a crone. And if I make Oathkeeper happy, I won't have to.
I won't be a part of this.
Don't be stupid. You are a part of this.
Not anymore, I'm not. If you think I'll help you...
Darling, you don't have a choice.
Go to hell, Oma.
Oathkeeper, how much is he worth?
My. You are full of surprises, Jeanne. Exquisite, Geist.
See? I'm a woman of my word.
You exaggerate.
Please, I'm paying you back with interest. How much were they worth?
2 months.
So are 3 of them.
Yes, but they were so... pedestrian.
At this rate, I'll have to kill off half the island to satisfy you.
What a lovely thought.
We need an alternative.
What do you have in mind?
The Maelstrom. With all the spirits and rituals and whatnot, there has to be a way to improve the exchange rate or something.
Seek the blessing of the patrons.
Okay.
You want to appease me without a massacre? Fight on my behalf. Summon the patron and earn their favor. Do this, and we can be free of each other. I'll find a new host, and you will get to live out your natural life with no strings attached.
No strings. We know how that worked for both of us before.
A boon from the patron is more powerful than either of us. It's the only way to ensure we both get what we want.
Very well. I was hoping it would be more subtle.
Subtle isn't going to keep that thing in your arm from breaking free.
And how many years will your ward last?
I'll be honest. I don't know. But I'll be dead when it does, so it's kind of not my problem.
Fair enough.
I did my part. Now the rest will be up to you.
Great. Wait, what do you mean, up to me? Just give me the ward and we can be done with this.
Not quite. The ward you currently have is a lock. It hinders Oathkeeper until he figures out how to break it. The ward I built you is more like a battery.
Your technomancer babble is wasted on me.
You know I don't have to give this to you, right?
Forgive me.
Like I was saying, I didn't build it to block Oathkeeper, I built it to drop feed it, maximizing every ounce of life and storing the surplus to keep it satisfied and docile. And with the maelstrom upon us, the amount of mystic energy you'll be able to store in that thing will be obscene, assuming you're willing to put in the work.
Do you know how long the maelstrom will last?
No clue. I've seen estimates as low as 20 minutes and as high as 2 hours, so you better get the most use out of your time. Are you up to it?
Oh, McGinnis, don't worry. Tonight is going to be unforgettable.
Lady Geist, Detective Abrams, through your will I am here. What would you ask of your patron?
Knowledge. What is the connection between the tome I carry and the spirit in Lady Geist's arm?
Long ago, the tome was used to conjure Oathkeeper.
And how do we go about...
Detective, you already received your boon.
You didn't give me knowledge. You gave me a sentence.
When asking a question, it pays to be thorough.
I don't believe this.
You think I do? Don't mess this up, Geist.
With the bar, you said it would be fairly impressive to do worse.
Lady Geist, I grow impatient.
Restore the missing pages of the tome, so that Oathkeeper may be bound to it and not to me.
Done.
What did you do, Geist?
What do you mean, what did I do?
The plan was to destroy the tome with Oathkeeper inside it.
That was before it became very clear that the patron was not keen on providing multiple steps.
I'm still stuck with the tome.
Ah, but I'm not stuck with Oathkeeper.
Yes, but the people trying to kill me for the book can still very much find it.
And that is certainly a problem for you.
And if they release Oathkeeper, who do you think that spirit will be looking for?
You may have a point.
Ah, no shit.
Well then, I think there is an obvious solution.
Oma, this is a horrible idea.
I would think that you'd be happy that the Oathkeeper situation has evolved.
Evolved is a word for it.
The guest room is down the hall.
Your bathroom is bigger than my apartment.
Don't get used to it, it's only temporary. But until the tome is destroyed, it would appear our fates will be intertwined.
Enter.
Maximilian.
Jeanne?
How are you?
Vexed.
I'm sorry to hear that. Perhaps I can help.
I don't suppose you know where my son is.
I thought he died.
So did I. But tomorrow's problems are for tomorrow. Please, have a seat.
Aren't you going to offer me a drink?
I'm not here to serve you, Jeanne. You're more than welcome to help yourself. Now, what can I do for you?
More like, what can we do for each other?
You're not actually going to pretend that you have something I need, are you?
Who's pretending?
Well, this should be good.
I didn't come here to be insulted.
No, you came here because you needed my help. You can dress it up however you want, but let's be honest. My phone doesn't ring unless people want something.
And you don't return calls if you think someone is going to waste your time.
This is true.
I accept your apology.
So, what can we do for each other?
You are a man with powerful enemies.
I have enemies. Powerful is a bit generous. Says the crone who's convinced the world she's in the prime of her life.
I see you've heard the rumors. Good. That saves me time. Your confidence is inspiring. Unfortunately, reality does not bend around your bravado.
So, Oathkeeper
is very real.
Ah, and you?
I'm tired of bearing his weight.
Go on.
Something this powerful can't be left to its own devices. It needs guidance, a strong hand, something you alone can provide.
Yes, and in exchange?
There are some Guarantees that I'd like to see in place in regards to my foundations, as well as my safety.
I assume you'll want a blood contract?
Naturally.
I can have a notary here in a few days. Should be plenty of time to settle on terms.
Wonderful. I'm glad we were able to come to an agreement.
Oathkeeper is in safe hands.
Maximilian, so long as I'm in safe hands, I'm satisfied.
So, Oathkeeper, are you ready to change the world?
Mr. Fairfax, I thought you'd never ask.
Excuse me, is Shelley Fisher available?
Miss Shelley isn't feeling well at the moment and isn't taking visitors.
Well, it's a good thing I'm here then. I'm an associate of Dr. Geist.
Send her in, Bebop. I'll hear what she has to say.
It's nice to meet you.
What can I do for you, dear?
It's more like what I can do for you. I know you're running out of time, Miss Fisher, but you don't need to be. What if I told you that you can bar death from entering your home?
I'd say it's rude to lock out a visitor.
What?
I've lived a good life, a long life. I buried my husband, and while I'm not eager to see him again, if death comes knocking, I'll come running.
I don't understand.
That's 'cause you're young, dear.
I'm offering you a miracle.
Johann called and told me all about you, Lady Geist. And if you knew anything about me, you'd know I traffic in creation, not death. So, no. You're not offering me a miracle. You're offering me a curse.
You're going to die.
I am. But at least I'm not going to live by becoming a killer. You know what you're doing is wrong. If you didn't feel that way, you wouldn't be trying to pawn off the responsibility.
What am I supposed to do?
I don't know. That's the problem with making deals with the devil. He always comes to collect.
I tire of your sanctimony. If you won't take Oathkeeper on my behalf, you will at least buy me more time.
I brought some chocolate biscuits for you and your guest, miss. You step away from her right now.
Or what? No! Oh, no, no, no.
Freedom.
Oathkeeper, please.
Don't beg, Lady Geist. It's beneath you. Automaton, take your charge and leave. My friend and I need to make up for lost time.
Looks like you've had a hell of a night.
Very much so. The usual, please, Hank.
Enjoy it. We'll be closing soon.
I thought last call wasn't for a few hours.
No, closing. Alchemy Bureau wants to shut us down.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, Fern and I are trying our best to save the place. But I don't know if it's too little too late.
Hank, if you're open to negotiations, maybe we can help each other out.
You thinking back room, or you gonna spring for a hotel?
I have standards.
Sure, but one of these days you're gonna lower them. And when you do...
This is serious. How badly do you want the resources to get out of the trouble you're in with the Alchemy Bureau?
If it meant saving my bar, I'd make a deal with the devil himself.
Then, do I have the deal for you? You two will figure it out. I'm sure of it.
I appreciate the confidence. I gotta take care of some stuff in the back. You good?
Of course. Have a good night, Hank.
I'm willing to bet someone in that group over there would be willing to make a deal. You can smell the desperation from here.
I know.
So what are we going to do about it?
Nothing. We're going to go on a holiday.
Ah, tired of New York, I see. Where shall we go? Tokyo? Rome? Ooh, perhaps back to Paris?
Oh, no, my friend. This cycle doesn't end with me pawning you off. It ends with me killing you.
This should be entertaining.
Oh, I assure you it won't be. Parasites like you need a host. And when the ward fails, you'll find no ground to run to.
Where are you taking me?
I've always wanted to see the Arctic Circle. It just took me 50 years to find the perfect travel companion.
Geist, you will suffer for this.
Yes. And you with me. A new covenant, one enforced by your power.
Oma, please.
The terms.
One life, in exchange for 200 years of complete obedience.
Oathkeeper, does this agree with you?
Very much so.
Don't do this.
Offer your tribute.
I didn't think you had it in you.
It's like I told the doctor. I don't maintain relationships with useless people.
Oh, Jeanne, you are a delight.
Oh, darling, if you think I'm fun now, wait until you see what I do next. One life, in exchange for... Did you pick a name?
We named him after Dad. Johan, can you say hi to Oma?
Oh, please, not Oma. It sounds old.
Sorry, Mom, you are old.
Don't remind me.
The terms, Lady Geist.
One life. In exchange for mine, Oathkeeper is banished from this plane.
What?
Done.
No!
I don't really know if flowers are the appropriate thing to bring someone who endangered your life before saving it, but I don't know, just had to see you. Thank you.
Lady Geist, through your will I am here. What would you ask of your patron?
Peace. This dance with Oathkeeper needs to end. Free me of his influence, and let us all walk away prosperously.
Very well.
And so our business is concluded.
So it would seem.
Are you going to kill me?
Why would I? The nightmares of what you've done for the past 50 years will torment you far longer than any misery I inflict.
You're joking, aren't you?
Of course I am. I know you, Jeanne. You'll sleep like a baby. It's why you're one of my favorites.
Am I now?
Humanity is so predictable. And while I took no joy in being put on a leash, it at least was something different.
So what now? We go our separate ways?
Indeed. And pray whomever I make a bargain with in the future doesn't have a grudge against you.
Well then, perhaps I'll see you sooner than either of us think.
Safe travels, Lady Geist.
May you find a host far less enterprising than myself.
I'm sure I will.
That's your flight, Oma.
Thank you for your help. You're very much your father's son.
That means a lot. Oh, don't forget your bag.
Oh, that's for you, darling. I know I haven't been an easy patient.
I don't know what to say.
Say thank you and waste it on something impractical.
Thank you. Hey, Oma, I forgot to ask. What are you planning on doing in Europe anyway?
For the past 50 years, I've survived on death. I'm ready to go live.